to 114. Their fifth straight loss. The Jazz get it done, and they were missing a couple of their key guys. So a frustrating night for the Portland Trailblazers, but this is part of the process. This is a young, rebuilding club, and you're going to have nights like this where they're going to show up and just not have what it takes to get it done. But I think in these type of situations right now for this Trailblazer club, it's really a great opportunity for Coach Billups to continue to work with this crew and especially the young players to help them understand what it takes to win and how to approach games on a nightly basis in the NBA. And he did that. And we're going to hear from Coach Billups, who had no issue letting everyone know that the effort that they started the game with tonight, the way they approached the game, the way they started the game, the energy level or lack thereof, he let it be known that that's not the way he wants his team to play basketball. And the Blazers tonight, really after the midway point of the first quarter, the Utah Jazz put the foot on the throttle, and they didn't look back. They put up 38 points in the first. They had 31 in the second, 69 points in the first half on nearly 60% shooting from the floor. They built the lead as much as 33 points, and they cruised to victory tonight. The Blazers were able to make the score a lot closer than the reality of the game itself because Portland put up a bunch of points during garbage time. They outscored the Jazz 38-19 in the fourth to make it an 8-point difference at 122 to 114, but the game was not close. But I don't look at the game as a disappointment. I don't look at it as frustration because, again, I'm looking at this entire season as one package. It's a rebuilding effort with a young basketball team, and the truth is they're going to have nights like this. And the reason why I'm not frustrated with this particular game here against the Jazz, because I look at every one of the games that they've played this year, the majority of them, they've been locked in. They've played with great energy, with great purpose, especially on defense. They've competed, and they put forth a really good effort. They've grinded. And I think what's going to happen with this team from time to time, and we saw this against Oklahoma City, where they're putting in so much effort and expending a lot of energy in these games and the way they need to play to be able to be competitive, they're going to have nights like this where they show up and they just play flat. And we saw that tonight from the start. And what happens is when you lack that energy and you have nights like this where you don't shoot the ball well, the Blazers just 41%. But the two guys who have been their meal tickets, Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons, were never able to get on track. They combined for just 13 points on 4 of 20 shooting. So the two guys you were relying upon to give you some consistent offense didn't have it. And the Blazers' defense was not sharp, and I think a part of that was due to the energy. And the Jazz able to use their size. They pulled down 21 offensive rebounds. They took advantage of their opportunities in the paint, got a bunch of easy buckets. They outscored Portland 72-50 in the painted area, and they cruised to victory. So that's how I look at it. Not disappointed, not frustrated. It's just part of the process for what this team is going through right now. Again, we have to evaluate on the most important things, and that is the coaching staff. What are we seeing from Chauncey Billups and his staff? Are the guys responding to the things that they want them to do and how they want them to play? And through 23 games, I think we can answer that question, yes. What are we seeing from the young players? Tamani Kamara tonight, career-high 18 points. He connected on 3 of 4 from downtown, 7 of 10 from the field. He also pulled down 6 rebounds. He was terrific. He's continuing to progress and look like a guy that could be a long-term viable commodity in the NBA. That's wonderful. Jabari Walker continues to develop, put in a lot of work during the course of the offseason. He finished tonight with 13 points, 9 rebounds. He's progressing nicely. Scoot Henderson tonight scored 19 in his previous game, which was a career high. He finished with a career high 23 points, had 10 assists in the game tonight on 9 of 21 shooting. So we're seeing progress there. And Shaedon Sharpe, after a series of excellent games, just couldn't find the mark tonight. 1 of 12 from the field and 0 of 5 from downtown. But most importantly, we're seeing development in the youngsters. And again, that's part of this process the Trailblazers is going through right now is, getting a chance to step back and look and watch these guys compete and see how they play. And then they can start to identify pieces that they want to be a part of this, team, this franchise, long term moving into the future. So they're going through that process of evaluation. And, the Blazers will have nights like this, but for the most part, aside from a few games this year, they've been competitive. They've shown a lot of grit. They've played good defense, and they've put themselves in a position to win many games, even though they come up short against better competition in the NBA. I think the biggest disappointment with the game tonight is you were taking on a shorthanded Jazz club that's not a great team. It looked like an opportunity to get the win, and they just couldn't match the Jazz, their energy and the way they, really played from the start. And so that's frustrating because you would have expected better energy. But again, I think the Blazers, with their recent schedule, they played a number of games away from home, and they've gone up against good competition. And I think that can, take some energy from you. And I would expect we'll see better basketball as they continue on this home stretch because they're at home. They'll be getting more rest. And I would expect better basketball on Saturday against Dallas, even though it's going to be, stiff competition with Luka. And then they have the Golden State Warriors coming to town on Sunday in the second of a back-to-back. And the last time I checked the score, the Clippers were up with about just over 2 minutes to play by 8 points. So it looks like the Clippers may get the win there. The Warriors, of course, playing without Draymond Green. All right, telephone number is 503-248-0620. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt with you. You can join us on our YouTube live stream if you'd like and be a part of the YouTube chat. Just go to youtube.com and pull up our homepage, Rip City Radio 620. The link to all of our live shows is right there, and be sure to click and subscribe. Chris Burkhardt is with me, my partner. What's your big takeaway from what you saw tonight? Did you see a lot of the same things I did, just lack of energy and lack of focus from the start?
My big takeaway is you're getting soft at your old age, Chad. Getting soft. That's what everyone keeps telling you, right? I'm a little bit opposite of you on this one. I didn't like this game at all. Not in the least. If you take the L, you have tough games. I get that. But to go against one of the teams kind of in the race with you for one of the worst records in the league, they only got, like a 3-game lead on you, and they only have 10 healthy players, all their best players out, and you get down by 33 points? Like, I get that you're learning and the team is still young, but man, Ayton's back, Brogdon's back, Grant's the only main rotation guy you're missing. You should have gone out there and, put your foot on the throat, so to speak. You should not have let up, and they didn't. And then you have Chauncey postgame, which we'll hear more of, say, they wanted it more, which is just cheesy nonsense. I mean, if you didn't get your team up to want this game, you got to do better, man. So, yeah, I there was a lot of things I liked from the young guys and stuff, but overall, I didn't like that performance.
All right, that's fair. I understand that. I'm just not going to overreact. We're talking about the Trailblazers who have 6 wins on the year. So
mainly, I just really, really felt the need to go against you and call you soft at your old age since everyone else does. That's all.
I am. Being a father, having a daughter, I am getting softer with my old age. The Blazers tonight, your starters, Matisse Thybulle, 17 minutes tonight, 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting. Tamani Kamara, career high, 18 points, 24 minutes of action, 7 of 10 from the floor. He also pulled down 6 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton, 20 minutes tonight, 14 points, 9 rebounds, made 6 of his 13 shots. Shaedon Sharpe, 27 minutes, 4 points on 1 of 12 shooting, 0 of 5 from downtown. And Anthony Simons in 22 minutes, 9 points, 6 assists, 3 of 8 shooting. He was 2 of 6 from downtown. Off the bench, Scoot Henderson, 35 minutes of action, 23 points, 10 assists. And he was 9 of 21 from the floor, 4 turnovers. Moses Brown, no points in 5 minutes of action. Malcolm Brogdon, 9 points, 3 of 6 from downtown. He played 14 minutes tonight, back after being out a couple of games with knee soreness. Jabari Walker, 27 minutes. He had 13 points, 9 boards on 5 of 10 shooting. And Dewap Reed, 15 points, 3 of 6 from downtown, 6 of 11 from the floor. And the Blazers tonight, 41% shooting. They were 35% from downtown on 16 of 45 from beyond the arc. They got pounded in the paint tonight. The Jazz with a huge advantage, 72-50. The Jazz also pulled down 21 offensive rebounds. The Blazers had a 23-21 edge in fast break points. And Portland tonight 32-13 edge in second chance points. For the Jazz, Simon Fontecchio tonight, 24 points and 5 rebounds on 7 of 8 shooting. He was terrific. Kelly Olynyk with 10 rebounds in 24 minutes of action. Walker Kessler, double-double with 10 points, 10 boards, chipped in with 4 assists. He made 5 of his 6 shots. Colin Sexton had a game-high 27 points on 11 of 17 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3. And Talen Horton-Tucker, very effective tonight, 23 points, 4 assists, 9 of 19 from the floor. And he was scrapping tonight for the Utah Jazz. And that's pretty much it. The Jazz, 53% shooting. They only took 33 threes. They were 11 of 33 from downtown. And that is that. The Jazz get the win, 122-114. They led by as much as 33 tonight. The Blazers able to make the score more respectable there in the fourth quarter, but that is your final. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number, 503-248-0620. All right, if you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to your phone calls. 122-114 is your final as the Jazz get the victory tonight. Portland will get a night off, and they'll play the first of a home back-to-back coming up on Saturday. Don't forget, that's a 6 o'clock tip with the Dallas Mavericks in town from Moda Center. The game on Sunday against Golden State, also a 6 o'clock tip. All right, 503-248-0620. Your phone calls are coming up next. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt here. It's the fifth quarter.
Liberty Coin and Currency presents the fifth quarter shot of the night. Liberty Coin and Currency, the place to buy and sell your gold, silver, jewelry, and coins.
Now Scoot takes it the other way. Scoot on the perimeter to Reith. Open for Reith. Dwop. Yes. 10 points for Dwop Reith. And it's 122-106. Reith now with his 8th game of 10 or more, playing in his 15th career NBA game.
And a double-double for Scoot Henderson.
Yep, his first career double-double.
All right, fifth quarter chat, Doing and Chris Burkhardt with you. Jazz get the win tonight, 122-114. The Blazers will get tomorrow off, and then they start the first of a home back-to-back Saturday against the Mavericks at Moda Center. Tip-off at 6. We'll have game day starting at 3:30. 503-248-0620. We'll focus more on Scoot Henderson, who had a big night tonight. Career high 23 points, 10 assists. When we go into What's the Scoot, we'll give you a scoreboard update as well. But let's go out to the phones and get a chance to hear your voice on what you saw tonight. We'll start in Salem with Lou. Lou, appreciate the phone call. You're up on fifth quarter. What was your takeaway from the game tonight?
Chad, I was so disappointed in your take until I heard your partners talking about what a horribly disappointing game this was. This is a sign of something big. They were disenchanted, disenfranchised. They didn't want to deal. There was something wrong with Shaden. I was at the game. There was something wrong with Shaden and his demeanor, Ayton and his demeanor. There was a funk going on from that starting five, and there's something going on something's brewing. They were not a happy campers, and I think that's a big issue. I don't think Chauncey I don't think he can coach. The horrible seasons he can't show has hidden his inability to coach. Tank year, injury year has hidden the fact that he can't make in-game decisions. I don't think they have any direction on offense. And to bash offense, yeah, I know you want to be a better defending team, but to bash your offense, I don't know, man. I don't like the direction of this team.
Well, I appreciate the phone call, Lou. I would disagree on most of the points you just made. In regards to Chauncey Billups, I think most of what we've seen this year from Coach Billups and his staff has been very positive. The way they've competed on both ends of the floor, the response they've had defensively this year. They've been top 10 in the league in defensive rating for most of the season, which is a tremendous improvement. The development of the young players, the 4 youngsters, Scoot Henderson, who's coming along. Shaden Sharp has been a wonderful discovery this year in his play, especially since he's been inserted in the starting lineup. Jabari Walker's continued development, and, of course, Tamani Kamara, who's been nothing short of tremendous so far for the Blazers. So I see the development in the youngsters, and the improvement on defense, and the offense is not where they want it to be, but they've had a lot of different guys in and out of the lineup. Now, tonight's effort was not good, but that's part of the process when you're, working with a young group with many different faces and a rebuilding project. Now, in regards to, something not right with the team, well, that can happen from, week to week or sometimes games. Maybe there was something that went down at practice, or there was, some hard coaching or disagreements or whatever. That can happen from time to time where guys come out a little bit unfocused. But, I just think that the majority of what we've seen so far this year has been positive. Let's go out to Victor in Turkey. Victor, I appreciate the phone call. What's your takeaway from tonight?
Hi, Chad. Let me first thank you and Chris Burkhardt for giving me a chance as a foreigner to get into your line, because most of my view is negative. Most of my view is negative about Blazer, but you still give me a chance to get in. I never forget that. But secondly, I approve your assessment about the new players. Scott Henderson and other players. I definitely, agree with the assessment. But some of the things that I have negative about that is some of the players that the Blazer got, like, was that the from the Phoenix, the Ayton. The thing is, when we lost Damian and the True Holiday, these two players, the value, dollar of the value is close to $300 million, or close to $300 million between True Holiday and Damian Lillard. But the thing is about the, Anthony, the Aiton. When I started soccer in Turkey, playing professional. They gave me $20,000 for a season, 22,000, and also the other players around me, they give like close to only 20,000 a year. That is the cheapest in the world. The thing about because the Americans, they spoil the other nations how to raise their money. Like when the American players they make 10 million or 100 million, the other country they copycat that. So in other words, when you see the Turkoglu, when the Turkish came to here to NBA, his true value wasn't 1 million or 10 million. His true value in Turkey was say $100,000. But because the other countries they watch the news and they say, well, look at the NBA in America, they pay $200 million, then they raise their expectation. In other words, the true value of the foreigners, whoever they are, except the France and Germany. Germany and France, they are the highest economy in the Europe. So their value is much higher than the Bosnia or other low economic country. But when they come to U.S., because of the value is so high, they are not going to give him $10,000. They're going to give him $10 million. So what I'm saying about the agent, the psychology, I know about the psychology, Chad, you won't believe it. The agent is from the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is one of the lowest economy in the world. So the minimum wage maybe, 50 cents an hour. So what I'm saying, when the agent came to America, well, he knew about the NBA, they pay him a lot of money. And the Phoenix gave him like $20 million. But the psychology of this player is when they make that kind of money and they don't expect it, they're going to loosen up. They are not going to be like, oh man, I'm going to kick my ass. I'm going to, do everything I can to win a championship. And with the agent, believe me, the agent, he's loosened up, man. You won't believe it. Because I know I'm a foreigner. I know that his psychology is just, okay, I make $20 million. Why should I try so hard? Besides, the Blazers is not going to win championship. So I'm going to play, mellow. I'm going to, play some games good, some games bad. It won't matter. But I'm opposed to Ayton trade. And I know for a fact. But I know you might disagree onto that. But about the foreigners, I know a lot about foreigners play. When they come to USA, they are spoiled by the money that the American give their own players. That's the one issue. But that's all I can say, sir.
Well, I appreciate the phone call, my friend. Yeah, America's beautiful. That's why people come to the U.S. They want to play with the best, and they know if they can do that, they'll have a chance to make some big-time scratch. Players, it depends on the player. Some players respond to riches differently. Some players are going to play hard and be aggressive and do whatever they can regardless. Some guys, if you give them the big paycheck, they may relax and take their foot off the gas. That's every industry across the country. Everyone responds differently to those type of situations.
I think the players who half-ass it because they're getting paid are much less than the ones who go all out. That's all these guys have done their entire life, right? They are bred to play basketball full speed. Their dreams to get here. Now they're here. They got the money, but you can't stop. They don't slow down. They don't want to go to first gear. They're Ferraris and they want to pedal to the floor, man.
Yeah, that's right. Guys who loaf around would loaf around regardless of the type of money they make.
Without question. And you've seen it. And a lot of those players aren't long for the NBA once they're there. So,
yep. If you know how to handle a few dollars, you're going to be able to handle a lot of dollars. Every player handles, different, situations differently. So I don't have a problem with the money they make. That's why guys want to play professional sports in the U.S. because there's big dollars. And I've got no issue with that. We'll see. The Blazers are still getting a feel for DeAndre Ayton and what he's about. His strengths, his weaknesses. where he can best help them. And I think there's still a lot of that. What are we now, 23 games into the season? Chauncey Billups and his staff still getting the feel for these guys. And that's part of the process. So, like I said, I'm not going to, freak out over one game because I'm looking at the 23 games that they've played. And aside from really, 3 games that you can point to where they've been hammered, opening night against the Clippers, the Oklahoma City game tonight. Outside of that, they've played with good effort, good energy. They've focused on defense. They've been competitive against better competition. And you're going to have moments like this. Great teams have moments where they come out and lack energy and don't play well and they get hammered. That's just part of the process. 503-248-0620.
I was just saying that's where I find tonight's game to be a little annoying. And I have been Mr. Positive most of this year. Most people call me out on it for being too positive. But tonight, they let a team score 122 points and get up by 33 at the most. And this was a team that their top 3 scorers did not play. And 4 of their 5 top scorers did not play. The only player that is in their top 5 that was on the floor tonight was Colin Sexton. So you're missing all that firepower and you're down by 33 points. And then it's hard to go, the defense. Well, the defense was getting hosed. There was good. Of course there was good. The 20 and 10 from Scoot was nice. It was also nice to see the young guys at least scratch back and make it a game with, 30 seconds left. But there was also bad. Like there was a play in the second half. I can't remember when it happened, Chad, but Ant brings the ball up, signals to Ayton for the screen. He wants the high pick and roll on the right side. Ayton doesn't come, so he points again. I want the high pick and roll on the right side. Ayton comes and sets the pick on his left side. So Ant goes left, throws the ball back out to Ayton, who's not even kind of expecting it, looks around, puts it on the floor, and then turns the ball over because he didn't know what to do with it. It was just, he had no idea where to be within that set. It was just really, really weird to me. Little things like that were frustrating tonight.
Let's go out to the phones. Let's bring in my man, David Michaelis. David, what's up, brother?
Man, you got me on speed dial now, huh?
I do. I got you everywhere,
man.
It. What was your takeaway from today?
I love it. Well, I have my 4-year-old with me, so it was a different experience than I'm used to. So she's turning 5. Sorry, she had correct me.
Make sure you get that age right,
5.
dang it. Come on, Dad.
Man, dude, well, we were doing the meet and greet at the end of the game. We're supposed to see Ant and Jabari, but they were taking long showers, I'm guessing. So we just took off because she was breaking down. So, anyways, I liked your comments about the 3 games. The Lakers, they get beat by 44 this year?
Yeah.
They had a really terrible game, and they were supposed to be a good team. They won the in-season tournament, so I wasn't worried either. I saw some sparks. I just wish, man, it's hard to tell. I don't know if Chauncey's we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and just chilling. But when I hear that crowd get loud at the end of the game, and that was happening all the time before, it's hard for me, but I know just what you're saying. I like what I'm seeing. I like the effort. Tonight was a little bit sketch. See the plus or minus on the Utah side? All their bench guys come in, we go nuts. When all the starters were in there, we weren't too good. And when Colin was in there with 4 minutes left, I kind of yelled out when it was quiet, "Why are you still in the game?" But I liked your comments about the 3 games. I just wish the Blazers would start to kind of grow a little faster. But I'm in for the long run. So.
Well, what are your thoughts on the young players that we're seeing development on, namely Jabari Walker, Tamani Kamara, Shaden Sharp, and Scoot Henderson?
Well, Scoot's kind of a weird one. We hear him before the season started. He's finding guys in practice. He's a great passer. I see sparks, but I'm still seeing him go up to the rim. Well, I take that back. The last 3 dunks he had were different. But, when he gets blocked at the basket, throwing up the little soft stuff, it was kind of worrisome. But now that I think he understands that if he gets by the first guy, if he kind of packs it, he's a different player. Jabari, I loved Jabari when he first came in. I thought he could give you minutes his first year. Even if he's young, I think there's some bloodline there with his dad and his confidence. He doesn't complain. He works hard. I love guys like that. He'll go through a wall for anybody. Shaden, it's after the guys putting up 25s and 27s, but like you said, you have to go through that stretch. You got to fail to succeed.
Yeah, I agree. I want your take on this because you played basketball. What are your thoughts on Chauncey?
Man, all my buddies are just down on this guy, And I look at the what's the guy's name at Utah? The Utah coach. What's the Utah coach's name?
Hold on 1 second.
Anybody? What's his name?
Will Hardy.
Yes, this guy comes out of nowhere. Never seen the guy in my life, and he is as fired up as his players. His passion when he's coaching, I love it. But I don't know if you can be that way with certain young point guards versus Chauncey, who's very kind of quiet and methodical. He kind of gives you the side eye. He gets on his players, holds them accountable. So I love a passionate coach because that's what I had in high school. But then when I got to college, I had that coach that was more methodical, X's and O's, expected more out of you. So I think with a young group like this coming behind, after Dame, I think it's good. I think if coach came in with too much energy, he might rub them the wrong way, and we might have a coach fired or players not giving the effort that they're giving now. So I think he's doing a great job.
That's awesome, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts, and I'm glad that you had a chance to have a good evening out with the 4-year-old, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, can you say hi, go Blazers? Oh, she's too quiet. Tired. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Chad. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
You're the best, buddy. Good to talk to you. There you go. There's my man, David Michaelis, basketball player, and he's impressed with what he sees from Chauncey Billups. And let's go out to the Preacher. Long time no chat. Preacher, what's up, buddy?
Man, I enjoyed that last call, man. Yeah, it's going good. It's going good, that last call. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. My wife, Holly, she went with the game. She went to the game, and she texted me, man, they're getting blown out early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I understand, taking someone out for, a good old-fashioned, hey, I'm hanging out with the kids time. But when it comes to adult time, I don't think anyone's going home and having a good time after that. I mean, that was pretty bad.
That was a rough one tonight. It was a rough
one.
Yeah.
I mean, in a weird way, So I just wanted to share that, I've been listening. Great show. I am always encouraged with all your, community involvement with the young kids and hearing all this stuff in regards to teaching them how to do the analytics over the AMs and the FMs and the streaming and all God knows what is going to be delivered to them in the future in regards to having their voice heard in what they do.
Oh, so, you're talking about my time down at Cascade High School when I had the kids break up into groups and do their own radio shows. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know what? I listened to that, and you know what? I listened to you for so many years at this point, and I think, sometimes people need that. And if not, they need that all the time. Sometimes this kind of voice that sings this story throughout the day on certain subjects. And Dwight definitely did that in the papers for me as a young kid. So to have him on your, just on the 3 p.m. show all the way on, it's been very cool, man.
All right, I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, it's the same experience for me, Preacher, where I used to go to school, Prairie High School, and I grew up in a time when there was no internet, so I graduated in 93? No internet. So we had access to sports on television. We had cable, but there was no internet. There were no podcasts. We had the radio. So the main source of information the next day after a game was the paper. So I would go into the library before school started, and they had the Oregonian on one of those giant wooden sticks that you would pull out and drop on the table. And I would read Dwight's take on the Blazer game the night before. I would check out Kerry Eggers, get The Godfather, and then I would head to class. And that was my main source of information. So it's really bizarre to be working with the guy that I used to seek out when I was younger. And that's absolute fact.
You know what's so funny is I've had a conversation with Dwight about this. So I think, I know a lot of people do it, but I think it's just extra for people like you and I who, being in this profession was a dream of mine. I've always wanted to be a talking head, working at ESPN or something, covering sports. So same thing. My mom got mad at me because, the Sunday Oregonian was hers. Right?
Yeah.
And if I went out there and got the sports page before she got her ads, I got yelled at. But I didn't care. I grabbed that sports section every time. And I'm going to be completely honest, though. I never cared about the byline. I just cared about the story. And I would just read the stories and figure out what's going on. So I was like, how many times did I read a Dwight James article and not even realize it? And here I am now, long removed from my high school days, have been working with that man for almost a decade now. It's just kind of crazy to think about.
I know. It is. It's bizarre. Jazz get the win tonight, 122 to 114. We'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. When we come back, we'll step into what's the Scoot, and we'll focus in on Scoot Henderson and his play. 503-248-0620. Blazers will get a day off tomorrow, and then they'll be back at it Saturday, 6 o'clock tip at Moda Center against the Dallas Mavericks. The game will be heard live here on 620 Rip City Radio. We'll have game day starting at 3:30.
It's time for a fifth quarter scoreboard report powered by Columbia Heating and Cooling, raising your expectations of comfort.
All right, we start in Boston where the Celtics take out the Cavaliers tonight, 116 to 107. Jason Tatum, 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. A final in Miami, the Bulls over the Heat, 124 to 116. Nikola Vucevic, 24 points, 12 boards, and 7 assists. In Dallas, the Timberwolves improved to 18-5, best record in the Western Conference, 119-101 over the Mavericks. In the loss, Doncic, who will be in town on Saturday, 39 points, 6 rebounds, and 13 assists. In Denver, the Nuggets rout the Nets 124-101. Triple-double for Jokic, 26 points, 15 boards, and 10 assists. In Sacramento, the Kings over the Thunder 128-123. De'Aaron Fox, 41 points and 7 assists. And in Los Angeles, the Clippers over the Warriors 121-113. James Harden with 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 15 assists. And the Jazz over the Trailblazers 122-114 at Moda Center. And a final in the NFL tonight, Thursday Night Football in Las Vegas. The Raiders score a franchise record 63 points as they top the LA Chargers 63-21, 4 touchdown passes. Wow.
Yeah, go ahead and say that score one more time.
63-21, 4 touchdown passes for Aiden O'Connell. That's wild. And that is your scoreboard report here on Game Day. Let's get to Scoot Henderson.
The best performing team requires the best workstations. What's the Scoot is brought to you by Office Furniture Reborn. Need desks, better office chairs, or just the right file cabinet? Office Furniture Reborn has a huge selection of colors and sizes to choose from. So drop by Office Furniture Reborn's huge showroom just off Pacific Highway in 217 or visit www.officefurniturereborn.com.
All right, great signs for Scoot Henderson. Coming off a career-high 19 points. Scoot Henderson tonight off the bench, 35 minutes of action, 23 points, 10 assists. He had 4 turnovers, 9 of 21 shooting, and he was 2 of 7 from downtown. But what we saw tonight, and David mentioned this when he called in, much better in terms of his aggressiveness off the bounce, and he was able to get to the rim and finish tonight, which was nice. So I think what we're seeing with Scoot Henderson is just the progress that he's making from game to game. Everything's slowing down, starting to see things a little bit better, being a little more sure of himself in his decision-making and his movements, and the offense is getting better too. But, you know, his attitude, his approach, the way he works on his game, doesn't get too high or too low. He understands where he's at right now, and he's got to continue to work through practice, through games, through film study, listening to the veterans and the coaches to make sure he continues to make progress. But we saw that tonight. Really a highlight night type for Scoot Henderson where he was able to do things off the bounce and in attack mode that we have not seen so far this year. But he is progressing nicely. And I thought tonight was another step forward for him. And I think what's going to happen with, Scoot is when he has nights like this, especially the last couple of games where the offense has, been much better, just more confidence. And when he's able to step out and continue to work off the confidence that he's building, and then the game continuing to slow down, and he has a better understanding of how he needs to operate based on his, study and his work and practice, then he can continue to press forward. But that was a good sign. And I enjoy watching him on the floor, but he did appear more confident tonight. And physically, strong guy, and we're seeing him be aggressive defensively too. So a lot of good things from Scoot Henderson.
He had a couple drives tonight, Chad, that were a little more reminiscent of what you saw from his highlight tape in the G League, right?
Yeah.
Quick little crossover, quick step past the defender. That one that was like half layup, half dunk, that he kind of hovered in the air for a second was incredible. Had another one later in the game as well. So you're right. The comfort level for him figuring out where he fits best is definitely coming. And I think it was Nate Jones on Twitter who pointed out, he knows hoop as good as anyone, was like, you can tell that the game early on in the year was too fast for his mind to figure out.
Yep.
And right now it's slowing down, and he's slowing down and becoming better for it. So, yeah, it was a good game from him for sure.
And think about that with his natural ability. What's it going to look like a couple of months from now? As he becomes even more confident and sure of himself, and the game continues to slow down, where he's seeing things better where he's working off the bounce, also the passing windows, and then also a better understanding of the offense and how to operate within the offense. It's all good.
Just imagine when he, maybe he takes those sports gogs off and it takes his game to the next level.
I like Scoot. I like him. I like the way he handles himself. I like, just the whole vibe around him. And he's cool. He's a cool cat. So I think that's probably the bright side from the game tonight is just to look at how, the guys off the bench were able to perform. Good effort tonight from Jabari Walker. DeWap Reeve continues to give them quality minutes. Great effort from Malcolm Brogdon and Scoot Henderson. The bench really did their job tonight. The starting lineup, not so good aside from Tamani Kamara. A breakout performance for him. Career high 18 points, 7 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 4 from downtown, in 24 minutes of action. The youngsters getting it done for your Portland Trailblazers. Very nice. Also, one side note, too. First 30-point game of the season for Klay Thompson.
Good for him.
It's got to feel good for him because he's been tough to watch recently.
I'm not even going to wax it. I hope he figures it out. When he's on, he's fun to watch, man. I'm rooting for him. It sucks that his game took such a hit because of those devastating leg injuries, and hope he can bounce back, man, because he's a good player.
Also got a nice note here from Dave Barbaras of your Portland Trailblazers. He says, enjoying your show tonight, replacing burned out Christmas light bulbs with you in my earbuds. Nice. Say hello to Chris for me. Still a little nostalgic when I think of the whole gang. Hope you're enjoying a happy Christmas season, Dave Barbaras. Well, Dave, I appreciate you reaching out, buddy. And good luck with the Christmas light bulbs. That can always be a lot of work. That can be a process trying to figure out the lights. I've watched my dad do that for years, but I miss you, buddy.
I miss Bruce. If he's still listening, he'll laugh at that. I called him Bruce one time, engineer Bruce over there by accident. I was like, hey, Bruce, he gave you the weirdest look. And then I just played it off cool. And then I would just call him Bruce just to be ornery. But then that guy too, Dave, you say one thing about like old school music. Like if he were here during the show, we were talking about guitar players today. Oh my gosh, he would have geeked out with you.
No, he could talk music. I love Bruce and Dave because they're old school radio guys at heart.
Oh yeah.
So I respect that. But Dave, I miss you, man. I love you, buddy. I can't wait to see you face to face and hope you and the family are enjoying your Christmas season as well. All right, we'll come back on fifth quarter. We got to hear from Chauncey Billups. We'll step into the coach's corner. And I think you're going to enjoy Chauncey because he didn't mince words tonight in terms of what he thought about their performance in the 122-114 loss to the Jazz. So we'll hear from Coach Billups next on fifth quarter.
Time Jeep of Portland presents the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups. Time for a brand new ride from Time Jeep of Portland. You won't believe the huge deals they're offering. With over 300 new and used vehicles to choose from, you'll find the perfect ride for your new adventure at Time Jeep. Find us just minutes away from the Moda Center off I-84 or visit timejeep.com. Drive with time.
All right, listen closely. Coach Billups not mincing words after the Blazers 122-114 loss to the Jazz tonight.
Talking about how we wanted to attack both of them, the zone and the box and one. And talking about not being hesitant, when they run it. And that's exactly what happened for the most part. But, we're establishing ourselves, trying to establish ourselves as a defensive first team, and I think it's been a couple games, to be honest with you, when, we start getting some of our offensive players back. And then it looks so sweet and cute out there when we're making shots. But that's not who we are. That's not who we're trying to be. We're a defensive team. We got to get stops in order for us to play well. And I thought our starting unit, they got us off to a very poor start. Defensively, they were just blowing our doors off the entire time. Could never get control of them. We tried every defense we had tonight. Nothing worked. So we allowed them to set that defense the whole time by way of us not defending, which was very disappointing, man.
Is that lack of execution effort, that kind of led to Anna getting sat down?
It led to all of them getting sat down. It comes a point where I don't want to keep looking at that. I'd rather let the young boys get out there and play and scrap. And they came in and played the right way, played hard, did the best they could. I was willing to run out of timeouts to get them rest, but keep them in the game. It's like that sometimes. And when it is, I'll do what I do. No big deal.
You guys have played pretty solid basketball lately. What do you put your finger on to identify why it looked so bad today, aside from just some basic setbacks here and there?
I don't really know. They've been a tough matchup for us this year, mainly because their biggest strength is one of our biggest weaknesses, which is their offensive rebound. They've kicked our behinds. We played them 5 times since the preseason. They kick our butt every time. And our defensive rebound is a big improvement and problem area for us. So that's one of the biggest things. But I just thought today they just wanted it. They wanted it bad. I mean, I talked to our guys before the game about there's so many guys that they have out. However, there's so many guys that are going to play that are trying to prove to the world that they belong here. And that's what happened. You look at, I did everything besides blitz, Sexton, and THT, and then Fontecchio. I mean, shit, I didn't have any answers, and those dudes are good players, man. They're good players. They've earned the right to be here, so you got to respect everybody. If they starting, respect them as a starter. It's just period. It's just that it don't matter why they're starting. This is the NBA. So we had those conversations, and we just could never really turn it on, and we got what we deserved because we came out like that.
And your team should know that better than anyone because that's what you've been doing to other teams.
Yeah, you would think, but we didn't.
Do you view this as just a bad night? I mean, Shady couldn't buy a basket, other things going on, or do you feel this is a step back?
No, it was a bad night. It was a bad night for sure, but I'm not it's something that we got to talk about and watch. We're not just going to wash it off in the shower and act like it didn't happen. We got to talk about it, This is it's a part of it.
There you go. Chauncey Billups not happy with the Trailblazers' performance tonight. 122-114 losers to the Utah Jazz. And the Jazz tonight really just took advantage of the game early on. They put up 69 points in the first half, built a lead up to 33 points, and they cruised to victory tonight, 122-114. The loss was Portland's 5th straight as they kick off a homestand. Next game coming up on Saturday at Motor Center against the Dallas Mavericks. Tip-off will be at 6. Sunday's home game against the Warriors, also same tip time of 6 o'clock. Telephone number is 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. You can also reach out on Twitter. You'll find me there at Chad Rip City. And, of course, our YouTube channel is live. You can go there, Rip City Radio 620, find our homepage, and live links to all of our shows are right there. And you can jump on board and check things out from inside the studio and take part in our YouTube chat. Let's go out to East Amity. Ralph the landscaper's back. Ralphie, what's going on?
Oh, well, Chan, you know, I'm a little concerned about you right now. You sound like you're kind of sleepy.
Me?
Did I stutter?
Yeah, I don't think I'm sleepy right now. I feel pretty good, actually, Ralph. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, I heard you today talking about, you know, NFL football and with that whatever that old guy's name is, and you sounded pretty energetic. But right now you're sounding like, you know, maybe you're tired. But God, you work a lot of hours, and I'm not gonna disparage you for sounding a little tired, you know, if that's...
No, I'm not tired. I feel good. I think what it is that I'm trying to maintain a level head when it comes to the Trailblazers right now based on what they're trying to accomplish in the season they're going through. So I'm not going to get too upset from one poor performance after 10 straight games of, you know, good competition, good energy, good effort, good defense, and being able to put themselves in a position at the end of games to potentially win against better competition.
Yeah. Now, for all you knuckleheads out there who say, "Oh, that Ralph, he never talks about basketball." Well, does he ever talk about basketball? I've never. First of all, you need to pay attention, and then second of all, you need to listen to what I say, because when I talk about basketball, it's about 3 levels above the heads of most of these yahoos that. Well, some of the callers are pretty good, but some of these guys that, you know, work on the broadcast. I just shake my head and say, boy, something's, you know, that kid's scared to ask questions. So here's the question, Chan. Now, listen up, people. This is a good question. When Chauncey does his little press conference, which one of these or all of these are true? Is he trying to send a message to his players? That's A. B, he's trying to vent. You know, so he's trying to vent himself so he himself can feel better. Or C, is he just trying to do a PR spin of some sort that, okay, I'm the tough guy, yeah, these guys need, you know, give them time, you know, kind of a combination of A and B for the sake of the public. Which one of those is it, Chan, or is it all of them?
I think tonight it was A and B.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Now, here's the problem I have with that. Shouldn't he just sit there and talk to his players, you know, behind closed doors or when nobody's around there or anything like that, and just kind of have a good heart-to-heart with them? Or has it gotten to the point where they just don't want to hear him anymore? I'm just wondering. I'm concerned about that.
No, I think the guys are still...
You got to tell the public it's scary.
No, I think the guys are still listening to him. I think there's some times where you can use the public forum to call your guys out to add a little extra motivation.
All right, that's fair enough. That's a good answer. So for those of you who say I don't ever talk about basketball, there you go. That was more insightful and more content-rich than
nice work.
90% of what you hear on some of these callers. So anyway, Chan, I've been meaning to tell you this for a long, long time. You know, every time I go into the Walmart, I think, doggone it, I got to talk to Chan about that. And here's what it is. I mean, you know, I would not ever give you bad advice. I never have, and I've always given you good advice.
I'm also happy to know that you think about me when you walk inside of a Walmart. That's nice, too.
Well, I do, partly because you're a Broncos owner. You know, it's Mr.
Walmart money. Yeah, big money.
Third generation or whatever he is, and God bless him in America. But when I go in there, and I hear this, you know, Walmart radio, and then I hear them playing some music, and there's DJs on there, and hey, you know, we're going to be taking your calls. You know, here's my advice, Chan. You need to quit that dead-end job you have now. Where's that going to go? There's nowhere you can say, oh, it's going to – no, you've hit the ceiling, and you bruised your head on it, and you need to get out now and get into the Walmart radio thing because
now wait a second. Are you
could be
pulling my leg
thousands,
right now? Are you being
and
serious?
thousands of.
No, wait a second,
What?
Ralphie, are you pulling my leg? Is there truly a Walmart radio when you're inside a Walmart? I've not heard this before.
Yeah, and they have a little, what do they call them, singing things, what's that, Chan? It's Walmart radio.
Yeah, jingle.
I can't do it. Hurts, yeah, jingle, that's right.
They have
it
a
hurts my
Walmart
voice.
radio jingle? Huh?
Yeah, and then they have, hey, be sure to listen to Jim and Suzanne tomorrow morning because they're going to be giving away a gift card for Sam's Club or Walmart, and it's 6 to 8 a.m. or what, this kind of deal. It's like a regular radio station, but it plays, I assume, in all these Walmarts. And you got to understand, Chen, you've got 100 people or 200 or 300 each one, and there's 5,000 Walmarts. You're going to have a bigger audience than you could even dream of on your best day. On this little, nickel and dime station. So you need to quit while you're ahead. What do you think?
I'm really, my mind is blown right now. I just looked it up. They have a Walmart radio. During the weekday, there's a live show from Walmart Studio that has 2 hosts. It is just like any other talk radio show. Most topics are current events, and the music played to top 40 unless they're doing a special playlist.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Jan, you got to understand this. I'm not going to steer you the wrong direction because the ceiling is.
You're kidding me.
You're hitting the ceiling now. If you get into that Walmart radio deal there, whatever they call it, you could end up rubbing elbows with the guy that owns the Broncos, and then he's, oh, you have a radio background before my little nickel and dime store deal? Yeah, I work sports, what? And then he'd hire you to work with the Broncos. You got to think about that avenue.
They really do. They actually have a Walmart radio station.
Yeah, that's what I've heard for months that I've meant to tell you. I thought, golly, Chan needs to work on this.
They have the Chris Show from 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
They have the Kirby, Gwen, and Friends Show from 2 to 4 Monday through Friday.
Yeah, a good set of fake radio names there, yeah.
They also have the Bo Show, which runs Tuesday and Thursday from 11 to noon.
What is that, the Bo? The Bo?
The Bo Show.
The Bo Show. Well, I think he is only on Tuesday and Thursday because the other 5 days of the week he's trying to tie a bow. He doesn't know how to do it. His mom is busy. So, I'm telling you, Chan, that's, you got to give that some consideration. If I don't know if they pay you by the week or the month or whatever, but, next time they talk about a raise, you need to say, look, I'm going to go to Walmart Radio and, have a lot bigger operation than this little matchbox here that I'm on now.
This is incredible. Since the early 1990s, we've been broadcasting in stores to millions of U.S. associates and customers. Today, we're heard online and in stores. Amazing. This is really mind-blowing. I had no idea.
Yeah, there you go. That's I care about you, Chan, and I think that's a good idea. And I'm, what? You want me to tell you right now? Don't look over there. Burkhardt is down, bent over, waist down, under his desk, pumping his fist like, yes, get rid of Chan so I can do this job. Yeah,
I know
Chan
that's
out of
true.
here. Yes. So he's all psyched up for it.
No, that's true. Because you always know when you work at a radio station, the people, everyone that's you work with, they all want you to die so they can take your job. That's just part of the business. It comes with the world of radio. It's understandable.
Yeah, and if you're on the Walmart radio deal, they've got listen, if you're getting sick, something's wrong, they just go down to aisle 9 there and get you what you need to take care of you. So you'll never die there.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I may have to apply. I think I like the idea of Walmart Radio. I had no idea. This is mind-blowing to me, Ralphie.
Yeah, well, and I know it's interesting because of the Broncos owner there and all that. It's kind of a side avenue, but you could work your way over there.
Like if I jumped into Walmart Radio and I just broke out into various rants on the Denver Broncos, I would imagine they wouldn't mind probably.
No, if you're up there telling the truth, and you got the insight that they like, and that owner goes, I never, boy, that Chan there is pretty smart. Chan's got some points that I'd never thought about, and he might just kind of, say, hey, let's schedule a call. Let me fly in on the jet here to Benton, Arkansas, where, at the headquarters. Although he's probably saying, God forbid, I'm not going to Benton, Arkansas. He probably lives in a nice city, but it's just an idea, Chan. Just a good idea. Another one for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You are the best, Ralphie. You're the best.
Yeah. So. Anyway, that's all I wanted to tell you tonight, Chan. I want to leave it at that. I don't want to have any closer. I'm just going to leave it right at that, so you can have plenty to think about and consider your future and what are you going to do with your life.
Yeah. Well, you give me some things to think about, and I appreciate that.
All right. Well, you have a nice evening, Chan. You have a good-looking evening. Okay.
All right. You too. Have a good-looking evening, my friend. There's Ralph the landscaper, East Amity. I can't believe that. Can you believe that they have a Walmart radio? I had no idea, Chris.
Neither did I. So you learn something new every day.
Wow. Walmart radio. Had no idea. None whatsoever. All right. I just want to see more Scoot Henderson balling. I know some Blazer fans are still a little bit apprehensive on Scoot right now.
Yeah, I want to see more of him. He looked good tonight in the fourth quarter, trying to lead a little bit of a comeback. Had some nice moves today. He's starting to look more comfortable. I get it. Get plenty of people still mad because they don't like losses. Well, it's going to be a tough season for you if wins and losses dictate your happiness, if you're going to be completely honest. So
yeah. Yeah, no, I can honestly say that throughout the course of the year, I've been pleased watching them play because of the development, the effort, and what they've been able to accomplish so far.
Yeah, for most nights we have. Tonight was not one. Tonight was brutal.
If they show up on Saturday and put together another effort like we saw tonight, then I would be frustrated with that. But I don't expect that from this group. It's going to be a tough matchup, though. Luke is, as you pointed out last week before that loss, he's a problem. That's a problem right there.
Yeah, he's my personal favorite for MVP right now. I think he's playing insanely out of this world.
I hate it when people tell me I sound tired. Like, if I'm tired, I'm tired, but I'm not tired right now. You sound tired. Oh, thanks. I really feel a lot better about myself, Ralph. Appreciate that.
Oh, man, I don't know.
Because the one thing you never want to have on radio is low energy. It's the worst. That's why I drink a lot of caffeine every day, because I'm concerned about that.
I don't know. This station, you don't really have to worry about that. I try to bring it, despite the fact that I tell people I'm tired all the time, but that's because I'm a father of 3 young children, and so I live in a constant state of fatigue.
Now, if Justin sounded tired, I'd be concerned.
Worried.
Yeah.
I'd be worried.
Are you okay, buddy?
We'd have to be putting a phone call into his wife, make sure that everything's good.
Yeah.
I have to get him a doctor's appointment. That guy has energy no matter what.
Miss Myers, we're concerned about your husband. He's not showing the normal Justin-type energy this morning. It's a major concern.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Our next Trailblazer broadcast, Chris and I will be back together on Saturday. Game day starting at 3:30. Tip-off with the Mavericks at 6. Tomorrow morning, you can join Rip City Mornings at 6 and the Rip City Drive at 3 o'clock. Your final score tonight from Moda Center, the Utah Jazz over your Portland Trailblazers, 122-114. For Chris Burkhardt, I am Chad Doing. Thank you for your time tonight, my friends. We'll talk to you on Saturday.